The Zarkith Empire believed in efficiency. When they conquered Earth, they didn't waste time with extermination or forced integration. They simply loaded humanity onto transport freighters, dropped them on a barren mining moon called Tarsus 12, and sealed the atmosphere dome. A prison moon. No weapons, no ships, no resources. Just rock, dust, and hopelessness. To the Zarkith, it was mercy. To humanity, it was a challenge. At first, things were brutal. There was no food, no clean water. People died. Fights broke out. But within weeks, the chaos started to fade. A man named Colonel Ezra Malik, a former UN commander, took control. He didn't beg for rescue. He didn't mourn Earth. He looked at the dome's schematics, scavenged the mining equipment, and began building. They called it Fort Resolute. 5 years later, Tarsus 12 no longer resembled a prison. It was a fortress. Thick walls made of reinforced durasteel mined from deep below the surface. Automated rail guns mounted on towers. Underground farms powered by solar grids. Reverse-engineered Zarkith tech powering a crude but effective AI defense network. And above all, a military, disciplined, united, and fiercely human. The Zarkith hadn't checked on the prison in years. They'd assumed the humans had either died or descended into savagery. They were wrong. A Zarkith scout frigate arrived without warning. Its sensors detected massive energy signatures and high-density thermal outputs, signs of manufacturing and advanced tech. Curious, the frigate landed. It never left. Malik stood at the edge of the crater where the frigate had been shot down by precision rail gunfire. His second-in-command, Sergeant Reyes, stepped up beside him. "They came back," she said, a bitter smile on her lips. "They'll come again," Malik replied, eyes scanning the horizon. "This time with a fleet." And they did. A week later, a Zarkith task force entered Tarsus 12's orbit. 5 cruisers. 2 carriers. Thousands of soldiers. The Empire expected a cleanup operation. Instead, they walked into a war zone. The first wave of dropships was annihilated before they even touched ground. EMP mines scrambled targeting systems. Humans had mapped every inch of the terrain, turning it into a kill box. Guerrilla fighters struck from hidden bunkers, disappearing into underground tunnels. Zarkith plasma cannons rained hellfire, but Fort Resolute's shields held. Power systems routed through layers of redundancies, pulling energy from geothermal vents and solar collectors. Automated drones, once mining bots, now flew suicide runs into the enemy's command centers. It was war, brutal and unrelenting. Within 48 hours, the Zarkith fleet had lost a third of its force. By day 5, they were retreating, leaving burning wreckage behind. Aboard the last fleeing carrier, a Zarkith commander sent a desperate message back to the Empire. "The prison is no longer a prison. The humans, they've turned it into a fortress. We cannot defeat them easily. They fight like nothing we've faced before. Ruthless, united, evolved." Back on Tarsus 12, Malik stood in the command center, watching the stars through a reinforced viewport. His people had suffered. They had bled. But they had endured, and now they were something more. He turned to the engineers. "How long until the salvaged engines are integrated into the old freighter hull?" "Another 2 weeks, sir. Maybe less," one replied. Malik nodded. "Good, because we're not waiting for the next invasion. Next time, we take the fight to them." He looked down at the patch on his chest. Once it had said Earth Defense Forces. Now it bore a new symbol. A rising phoenix wrapped in barbed wire, forged from pain and fury. Tarsus 12 had been their cage. Now it was their crucible. And humanity was reborn.